Good afternoon, everybody. It is Friday the 9th. February the 9th.
Man, you're all twisted up.
Dude, it's not even Monday. It's Tuesday. What are we talking about here? Anyways, I'm your host, Seth Donahoe. This is the revamped Ball Don't Lie series premiere, if you will. Like I said, I'm your host, Seth Donahoe, alongside with my co-host / producer, Julian Jackson, who we just got done doing a show, so if we look familiar, you probably just seen us on the crock pot. What's up, Julian?
Hey, man, back to back, and I'm happy to be here. Producing is very exciting for me to be behind the scenes, man. It makes me feel like I'm doing a lot more than I actually am, and I need that validation.
Yeah, you just learned a lot of stuff here in the last 20 minutes, how to set up a show and everything.
It's a good break in between, man. I'm here for you. I'm here for you because the ball don't lie, baby.
Look, I knew I'd like you.
We'll see.
So today's big topic, obviously, Ball Don't Lie. We had a few episodes from last year, mainly all NBA talk. But what we're going to talk about today is just a brief review of the Super Bowl. I mean, everybody knows that Tampa Bay and Tom Brady beat Kansas City 31-9 on Sunday. So we won't spend too much time on that. We'll get into some Cleveland Cavaliers talk, what their past week has looked like, and looking ahead for their games over the next week until we do our show again next Tuesday.
Okay.
Then we'll review those shows, and then we'll talk about the upcoming weeks, and then the following week.
So, you know what? It's just cyclical. Let's keep it rolling, baby.
Stick with us. Also, I got a fun little stat about LeBron James that I want to talk to.
Oh.
I mean, he's just ridiculous. We'll talk about games to watch, just some of the big games, the big teams that's, are doing really well this season. With the likes of Philadelphia 76ers, who, since Doc Rivers had taken over the helm, they've changed things around. Last year, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, man, they were struggling. It looked like both of them did not want to lead that team. And then we're going to get into a fun little game, I guess you could call it, called the technical foul, where Julian and I will give a person or individual, nothing religious, no political anything. It's just all, could be an actor, it could be an athlete. It's just somebody that said or did something stupid that you would give a technical foul to.
Agreed.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, so first off, Tampa Bay beating Kansas City 31-9. I mean, we talked about it in Crockpot that Tampa Bay defense was relentless. I mean, they really took advantage of that 3 down linemen for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, those guys were incredible. As you see it, we knew that Kansas City was going to have down linemen. We knew that, they may have been a little bit distracted by some recent events, but yeah. I don't want to give that any sort of excuse because, you're the best team in the NFL, arguably, and there's no reason for you to actually have to go out there and look a mess the way that you did.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough, and of course there was Andy Reid's kid that was in the car accident. Is that right?
That is his son. I forget what his first name is. Another Coach Reid, the linebackers coach for them. Their linebacker play hasn't really been that great all year anyway, but something to think about.
Yeah, of course, anytime like that, something like that happens is scary, and something like that just happens 2 days before the Super Bowl. Like, it's going to be hard not to think about it.
Sure.
So. Don't want to say it was a distraction, but it was probably definitely weighing on Coach Reid and the entire Chiefs organization, I'd say. Patrick Mahomes, man, I seen this next-gen stat that you guys have probably seen, watching football games on commercials and everything. Next-gen stats says that Patrick Mahomes ran for over 500 yards while scrambling just behind the line of scrimmage. He had 5 carries for 33 yards. So technically he had over 530 yards rushing on the day.
Absolutely despicable. Absolutely despicable. You're talking about the guy who has won an MVP, a Super Bowl champion, and they cannot keep him together during the biggest game, arguably the biggest game of your career.
Yeah.
Because it's a Super Bowl. Once again, sure, you won it one time, but you're talking about playing against the greatest of all time in Tom Brady. So that is the biggest game of your life.
Yeah.
And they failed miserably.
Yeah. I mean, he Mahomes, 26 of 49, 270 yards. I think this is the first time I've seen Patrick Mahomes with 0 touchdowns.
You know what? There's someone placed a prop bet. There was a prop bet for Pat Mahomes to actually go scoreless. And in that, Pat Mahomes going scoreless on through the air. So Pat Mahomes, no passing touchdowns. Mm-hmm. Someone placed $40,000 on him not, and I don't have. I mean, if I was going to do $40, I'd be, appreciate that.
Yeah,
$40,000.
Still get a nice little payout.
Yeah, $40,000 resulted in $800,000. And they put that bet, and I remember someone mentioned it during the first quarter. They said, "Did you see this? Somebody did this?" And I kept my eye on it, and I'm like, "Are you serious? Are you serious?"
I never heard about that one.
So many opportunities that he had to be able to score a touchdown through the air, and all the rest of the bad things happened. Everything that could have gone wrong for him did go wrong for him not to get in the end zone through the air.
That's the ultimate goal, is to be able to have $40,000 to bet on Patrick Mahomes not throwing a touchdown.
Just willy-nilly. Let me go ahead and throw this old $40,000 out here and see if I can make it into 800. Oh, you did it. Congrats to that guy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Incredible.
I need to start betting better, because I always bet on like what my heart tells me and not my head.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I'm like, oh, who do you think's going to win, the Chiefs or the Bucks? And I'm like, I really want the Chiefs to win, even though it's Tom Brady and the Bucks are probably going to win.
I heard so many analysts talk about how, you can't bet against the GOAT. You can't do this. You can't do that. And then all of a sudden you've got these guys coming up out of nowhere and then come back to say you can't bet against Tom Brady, but it's Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
And then look what happens. So I don't know what really happened. I don't know what energy they were pulling from the universe to be able to work against Patrick Mahomes, but it worked. And for me, I prefer to be a realist and be able to say what it is. And if I'm wrong at the end of the day, fine. But Tom Brady, I knew had a great shot at winning, and he did it.
Yeah. And a lot of people are discrediting Patrick Mahomes. I mean, threw for 270 yards, threw 49 times. How many balls do you think were dropped by the receivers? How many balls do you think hit face masks of the receivers?
I mean, purely off of what I saw, 4 passes.
Off face masks?
I mean,
or that were just dropped?
Dude,
I seen at least 2
4
or 3.
or 5 that were, yes, there were a couple of them there at the end of the game when he hit him on the numbers. We had discussed him throwing that. It was horizontal and sidearm from his body. I believe that right before his knee had even touched the ground. I mean, his body was damn near horizontal to the ground.
Parallel.
And yeah, parallel with the ground. And he was like on his, shin and chucks this thing out there right to the end zone. And it definitely hit dude in the face. I don't know who it was. I believe it was Williams, the running back, but there were other members of the team who had it in their hand, and it was easily broken up by a Tampa Bay defender.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have a bad game, and for the Chiefs, it just happened to be on the Super Bowl night.
Yeah.
I mean, Travis Kelce, he had 2 or 3 drop passes, but he still finished with 10 catches, 133 yards. Tyreek Hill only 7 for 73. Like I said, no touchdowns were scored by the Chiefs, just 3 field goals. Tom Brady, your MVP, 21 of 29, 201 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he looked pretty good, but I think a lot of it was thanks to the run game. Leonard Fournette had 89 yards on 16 carries and a touchdown, and Ronald Jones had 12 carries for 61. I mean, I think that run game, Leonard Fournette ran hard, the hardest I've seen in a while.
Well, and when you have a guy like that to be able to back up the best quarterback that there is, that helps out a ton, because if you even look at, and I'm not remembering exact statistics, but Leonard Fournette was able to run very hard against Green Bay during the conference championship, but that did not necessarily mean... there were so many different things that Tom Brady made some mistakes during that game in which he was able to correct moving forward. I was a little leery that he might turn over the football in the Super Bowl, which is turnovers is not what you want, period. But he was able to clean that up. So I'm surprised there was no way. But then again, you need to have pressure from a defense to make decisions to turn over the ball. And he ended up doing that a couple times, 3 interceptions against the Green Bay Packers. But he was able to clean that stuff right up, man. Yeah. So it's incredible.
Yeah. When it comes to the Super Bowl, Tom Brady prepares. He makes sure that from the starters to the water boys, that everyone's going to be prepared for that game.
Well, you're also playing against a team that you already lost to this season. And it's hard to beat the same team twice.
Yeah, but they figured out a way. So Rob Gronkowski, 6 catches, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. Him and Brady now have the most quarterback to receiver touchdowns in the postseason with, I think it was 13?
I thought it was like 24.
Oh, no. This is just in the postseason.
Just postseason.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I think it's like 13 or 14.
Wow.
But yeah, Antonio Brown, I mean, he is insane, but he's one of the most athletic receivers that
Well, I mean, you saw there with all the jawing and things from the Honey Badger. Usually when he's talking smack, he's able to back it up.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't him talking smack. It was Tom Brady talking smack to him.
Yeah, and I want to just touch on that real quick. I didn't get – so the second quarter, just before the halftime, Tampa Bay's last drive, 1 pass interference on Mike Evans you could potentially make a case for. The second one that Tom Brady threw over the head out of the back of the end zone that was clearly uncatchable, I didn't like that call. And, they go down and score a touchdown, and Matthew ends up getting an unsportsmanlike conduct for coming up and just kind of like waving his finger or whatever. And then Brady circles around and is the one that gets in Matthew's face, and Matthew gets called for the unsportsmanlike. There were just some things, especially on that drive, where I was like, Buccaneers are going to win this one. Roger Goodell giving old Tom Brady the win.
Yeah, and we touched on some of that referee stuff during the crock pot. Mm-hmm. And, there's a lot that could be said about that. When you take the referees out of the game, though, who was the better team? It was Tampa Bay.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, with the 3 down linemen, they definitely took advantage of it. I mean, Shaq Barrett was able to get to Mahomes twice. Jason Pierre-Paul just always wreaking havoc. I think I seen or heard a stat that said Jason Pierre-Paul is now, after the Super Bowl win, 8-0 in his playoff appearances.
That's unreal.
Yeah,
unreal. You do that with the Giants one time.
Who's really
do it?
Who's really the GOAT? Tom Brady or JPP?
I don't know, man. Maybe it's Eli Manning.
Oh, there we go. There it is. Eli Manning not getting enough credit. Okay. So I seen also that Chiefs are probably 2-1 favorites to go back and win the Super Bowl next year. We had talked about on the Crockpot. You think Buccaneers are going to go back and repeat as Super Bowl champions?
They most definitely can repeat. Will they? I'm taking them to repeat again. To repeat again is very redundant, but I'm taking them to repeat again next year because, they're going to be able to pull together some of the guys that they might be missing out on if they don't end up signing them again. Mm-hmm. And I feel as if at this point you've had so much success in this season, you've got the greatest quarterback to be able to come down and play with you all. Right. So why not go ahead and test the waters again? Sign 1 or 2 years, do what you have to do because he's only got a couple remaining. It's not that he only has a couple left in his playing career. He could probably play longer, but he's told himself at least until 45. So you have his commitment to be able to go back and do it. So they've definitely got a legitimate shot to go back and repeat next year. There's other teams that could end up in the way, but I am not putting any sort of clout with the Chiefs. It doesn't seem like they were able to get it done. I don't know what they need to fix, but yeah, Bucks repeat.
Yeah, I like what you said. Tom Brady says, I think I heard him say like he wants to play until he's not the best anymore. And that could easily be 50 years old. I don't think he'll actually go up that high, but I mean, he's already he's the greatest. There's no way around it. There's no sugarcoating it. It's 7 Super Bowl wins in 10 appearances and 5 MVPs. Like, you can't do much better than that.
If it wasn't for Eli, he had 9.
How about that? Eli Manning, the real GOAT.
Referenced twice on this show already. I think that's enough. I think it's enough.
That's awesome. But yeah, Devin White, 8 tackles and an interception, and Antoine Winfield Jr., 4 tackles and the other interception from Mahomes. Antoine Winfield, he made a case to be Defensive Rookie of the Year before Washington's very own, as we all know, Andre Crocker likes the football team.
That's right.
Chase Young was able to get it, but I tell you, I didn't realize Antoine Winfield Jr. he's built like a freaking linebacker.
Yeah.
That was I did not think that he was that big. But credit them, Levante David, they all did their parts to be able to slow down that very explosive, potent offense that is the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, so we briefly touched on that. We're going to go and take a short break. When we come back, we're going to get into the real meat and potatoes of everything that's going on in the basketball world, especially with our very own Cleveland Cavs. This is Ball Don't Lie on the Score on Air Network. We'll be right back.
Design ideas for t-shirts but you're not sure where to go? Go to Mojo Sports Gear. That's right, Mojo Sports Gear. At Mojo Sports Gear, you can get custom-made shirts. Whatever design you need, Mojo Sports Gear can provide it. Don't forget to grab a custom-made cap on your way out and rock the best headgear in the game. Give them a call at 614-864-6656. That's 614-864-6656.
And you want to unmute me?
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Rookie over here, man. Doing my best.
We are back with Ball Don't Lie. Seth Donahoe alongside Julian Jackson. Just went over briefly Super Bowl. Tampa Bay beating Kansas City 31-9 on Sunday. Julian has the Buccaneers going back-to-back next year, but... man, I don't know. If Green Bay could do something, get things figured out with LaFleur and Rodgers, they could be all right. So, I don't know. There's a couple different options. I mean, in the AFC, the Buffalo Bills look good, and it's hard to tell. So, we'll see. This is way too early.
Yeah, it is. And we're going to be hitting on this when we are back crock-potting in the fall and sitting around tailgates getting ready for OSU football. And the saddest part I want to note really fast before you go ahead and move on to your next topic is that, it's a sad time when you see Super Bowl go ahead and be played, because then you realize that there's no more football for 6 months, 7 months, and we'll see what happens with other things. But sad time for me.
It is. Like, once you see, it starts in January. Once the college football playoff has that championship game, then you got a couple weeks before it's the Super Bowl, and then. But I mean, I'm a baseball fanatic. I like baseball. I definitely enjoy going to the park and watching my Reds play, but I don't know if fans are even going to be allowed or anything like that this year.
Yeah,
it should be interesting.
We're gonna make it to some events, man. Don't you worry.
Yeah, we're talking about. We need to talk to Adam about going to Canton.
That's right. Next thing on our list,
NFL draft. So, all right, let's get into the Cleveland Cavaliers. Over the past week, they went an atrocious 0-4. The week before, they had been on a winning streak of, I want to say they won like 5 out of 7 or 4 out of 7 or something like that. And they were sitting at 8th in the East last Tuesday. But this Tuesday, they have now dropped to 10-15, and they are 10th in the East, 76ers. The Bucks, the Nets, and the Celtics are the top 4 in the East, and it don't get much tougher than that. February 3rd, Clippers came to Cleveland, ended up dropping that one, 121-99. Paul George, man, when he's healthy, he's actually a star. He scored 36 points, and Kawhi was second on the team with 24. For the Cavs, Colin Sexton led with 27, and Darius Garland had 23. One of the biggest notes from this game, that the Clippers shot 20 of 34, which was 58.8% from 3.
Wow.
Cleveland shot just 4 of 10.
That's not how you win a basketball game.
No.
4 of 10 is still 40%, but you're going to need a few more threes up on the board.
Yeah, that's, let's see, what's 20 times 3? So that's 60 points compared to 12. Yeah. That's a big struggle.
Can't do it.
But, I mean, you're going against the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. I mean, they've been in the favorite. They've been one of the favorites to win the NBA Finals for the past couple of years now. So I mean,
and haven't done it, but still, that's the Cleveland Cavaliers. A very winnable basketball game.
Yeah. I mean, Colin Sexton has really been on a tear this year, really leading this team. Darius Garland finally coming alive after last season. So I mean, we got the key. We got good players.
Yeah.
We just need, I think, one more. We got a 1 and a 2 man. We got a 4 and a 5 man. But we don't have, I think, a solid 3 man that can play inside and out, help create for other players on the court. So ever since LeBron left Cleveland.
Man, get out of here with all that.
We've just been struggling. But, I mean, J.D. Bickerstaff is doing some decent things. I mean, like I said, we talked on the Millennial Pod a couple weeks ago, and Aaron said that he doesn't think the Cavaliers are going to get 20 wins in a 72-game season, and here we are 25 in with 10 wins.
That man, the Millennial Man is nuts. I want to go on record and say that right now. The Millennial Man is insane for saying stuff like that. Just ridiculous. I mean, there's so many different words. There's so many things I could say about that. It's crazy.
Yeah. The Cavs then lost back-to-back games on February 5th and 6th against Milwaukee. On the 5th, they lost 123-105. Giannis, another MVP favorite, 33 points, 12 rebounds. Drew Holiday, who they just acquired from the Pelicans this offseason, got 17 points. I like Drew Holiday, man. He's a solid guard.
Yeah.
Colin Sexton led the way with only a whopping 19 points. And Andre Drummond kind of got off of a streak of his double-double train, only had 18 points, 9 rebounds. Milwaukee led the way in 13-6 in offensive rebounds. If you're not going to get a body on somebody when that ball goes up and that offense is just getting second-chance opportunities, you're not going to win games.
Well, any time that you have an opportunity to get second chances, that's what you want. Yeah. Offensive rebounds, preferably, for your second chance. And, it's not always going to go your way. But if you have guys in the correct position, then your team is going to end up being successful. I mean, it's rebounds overall, but offensive rebounds are like a ×2 there.
Right. I mean, I know you're going against the second best team in the East, but no, you can't be having those kinds of differences can really just change a whole ball game.
Mm-hmm.
The following night, February 6th, Milwaukee ended up beating Cleveland again, 124-99. Giannis led the way again, 24 points, 11 rebounds. Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday combined for 20 points apiece, so 40 combined for 40.
Okay.
20 points apiece.
Yeah, fine.
You know what I mean.
You can do math.
I went to a school called Triad, but we call it Try-to-Add.
Yeah.
That's where I learned my maths.
Sounds promising.
That's where I learned my maths.
Sounds promising.
Andre Drummond got back on his double-double train, 28 points, 11 rebounds. That's what we like to see, man. Ever since he came down to Cleveland from Detroit, he's just I just love watching him play, man. He's not afraid to be physical. He's just always down there working, man. It's hard, and he's so strong. It's hard for anybody.
That's a real big dude. That's a real big dude. He's got meat on the bones, and he's tall. I mean, he's a machine. I went up and saw him play with Blake Griffin against LeBron a couple years ago at Little Caesars, and it was exciting to watch him play, and LeBron did not play. The whole reason we got the tickets months in advance, and then they went ahead and sat him down. But I agree with you. Andre Drummond.
Rest.
Yes, for rest. And Andre Drummond is, man, he's a man-child for sure. I mean, he's still younger. I remember he had braces a couple years ago. I don't know if he still got them on. No. But, I don't know why braces and kids, it's so relatable to being a child. But he's a grown man for sure. He's big. He's a biggin'. So.
Garland and Sexton had 17 points apiece. I'm just going to go back to this.
Go ahead.
Milwaukee 47.1% from 3, while Cleveland shot 6 of 28. That's 21.4%. You can take threes, that's cool, but you got to make them. especially in the NBA, and losing by 25.
Well, I mean, Milwaukee is slated to be one of the best team in the East. I'm not one of the best teams. It's the best team in the East. It should be. I mean, things have been jumbled up, and there's only time. Time is only going to tell. But when you have Giannis and then you've got a very complete team there, that's a team I expect them to get stomped to. Yeah. Not necessarily to the Clippers, but I understand the Clippers are a great team as well, and this is only going to make the Cavs better.
Yeah, absolutely. And then February 8th, last night, the Cleveland Cavaliers lost to Phoenix 119-113, who Phoenix has actually been kind of on a roll. They made a playoff run. I can't remember if they made the playoffs last year or not. I think they just missed the playoffs.
I thought they squeaked in.
They might have.
I thought they had squeaked into that first round in the bubble, and then they got put out, but it didn't take much. But they were competitive, or they were on the brink of making it, and they hadn't been a great team. So,
But, I mean, this year they went out and got Chris Paul, which you need that veteran guard leadership, and Devin Booker has just been tearing it up over the past couple years. Ended up scoring 36 last night. Mikal Bridges, 22 points for Phoenix. Colin Sexton had 23. Darius Garland, 17. Andre Drummond, only 15 points, but 14 rebounds. I mean, he's still doing what you ask him to do, Phoenix, Phoenix shot 45.8% from 3. Cleveland shot 8 of 24. That's 33%. So better than 2 nights before, from 12% better, but still 8 for 24. If you're going to be taking 24 threes and you're in the NBA, I expect you to make half of them. So it was a tough past week, but they also played some of the best teams. I mean, the Clippers are, I believe, third in the West. Milwaukee is second in the East, and Phoenix is right there in the top 5 or top 8 in the West. So but you got to show up to play. It doesn't matter who you're playing.
Well, and their schedule from here on doesn't get that much easier, so they have to be able to find a way to go in and pick up the pieces, because they were hot there last week, or the week leading into the previous week, and then last week they got they had to grow up a little bit.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes you got to take your whooping.
That's right.
It's how you get some hair on your chest.
Take your lickings, boy.
Yeah. Exactly. So looking ahead, like I said, Cleveland's 10-15. That's 10th in the East. 76ers, Milwaukee Bucks, Nets, and the Boston Celtics round out the top 4. Tomorrow, Cavs they start a West Coast stretch, taking on Denver, who's 12-11, 8th in the West. That's at 9 o'clock tomorrow. February 12th at 10 p.m., they play at Portland. They're 12-10 and 6th in the West. February 14th. Valentine's Day.
You talking about a little love there?
We going to get some love from the Cavs when they beat the Clippers?
Man, what? One of the Kardashians going to show up? Goodness
as
gracious.
Long as Tristan Thompson ain't there.
Oh, my goodness, man. It's going to be a disaster. Those are all winnable games for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Clippers 17-8, like I said, they're third in the West, and the following night, February 15th, 10 p.m., they play at Golden State, who they've struggled, but Steph Curry, dude, it was Saturday. Golden State played at the Dallas Mavericks. Yep. Steph ended up going for 57, went like 11 for 24 from 3 just by himself. 57 points. I mean, in the third quarter, there was one time he was bringing the ball up the floor, one dribble across half court and inside the logo, just nothing but net.
He's back. Yeah. He's definitely back. They're missing out on things with their team. I don't know if you saw Draymond go ahead and take that shot, which he said was a stupid, smart shot, genius, stupid, whatever it was. It didn't make sense, and he often doesn't. But Draymond Green had the inbound pass, and he thought that he was going to be fouled, so he leaned into it, and it was a terrible shot. But I kind of get what he's saying, because it's like, oh, okay, if you make it, you're a hero, and then you didn't, and nothing came of it, no foul, no nothing.
Right.
So then you look like an idiot. And to me, he's always been not a smart man, but a great player, dating all the way back to Michigan State.
Yeah.
But his whole ego and the rest of it, while it's not cute ever, but his whole ego, while he's with Golden State, he needs to be able to back it up with some good play. Yeah. And right now they're missing out on some things. Clay's still not around, and KD left, so they had those great years, but he should have known it wasn't going to last forever.
Yeah. I mean, they got the addition of Kelly Oubre Jr. They got James Wiseman in the draft too. They seem to like, he's having a rookie year basically. Nothing's too astonishing, but they got a decent team. Of course, Clay's out with the Achilles injury, and man, that's got to be tough. You tear your ACL in the finals, work your way back, and then in the preseason of this year, you tear your Achilles.
I'm speechless when it comes to that. It doesn't happen often, but I'm speechless because I have not incurred such injuries in my lifetime that were sequential in that way to make me feel so helpless. And for me, I feel bad because I actually like Klay Thompson. He doesn't say much and doesn't talk as much smack. I love the way he plays defense. He goes out and gets the job done, and he's incredible. I mean, those are the Splash Brothers together. Right. And I've always liked Klay a little bit more, and I've not ever liked Steph, and that's okay. Yeah. He's just not a guy for me, but Klay Thompson I actually have the respect for, and I see him back it up, and then for him to go down and be injured in 2 seasons like this is disappointing because I don't care how much I do or don't care for an individual. I still want to watch good basketball.
Do or don't care.
Yeah, whether I care for him or not. I still want to see. There's a couple.
You doozies.
This guy.
This guy. Yeah, I mean, whenever Cleveland went to the finals against Golden State, I was never really worried too much about Steph. I was always worried about Klay. Yes. Klay was the more consistent one. And, I mean, dude, if you can score 37 points in a quarter, that's just ridiculous.
He's a silent killer, man.
I know. In one game, he scored like 40 or 50 and only took like 3 dribbles total or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't mess around with anybody like that. But that's the thing. If Klay does talk smack, he's the one to be able to back it up.
Right.
Like, you want to say something to me? Come put a hand in my face, and I'll still get this bucket on.
He gets the job done, man.
Yeah.
That's respectable.
Yeah. So, like I said, next 4 games at Denver, at Portland, at LA, and at Golden State. I'd like to see him get back on the win streak, go 2-2. I think the Denver and Portland games can be winnable. I mean, I know that they're 6th and 8th in the West, respectively. Denver has just kind of seemed to have a slow start to the season. I mean, they're 12-11, but with Nikola Jokic and the likes of Jamal Murray, you can't take anything for granted.
No, I mean, nor should anybody. In any category or any facet of life, you shouldn't be taking anything for granted, but that's how it is. That's how we live and how we function as humans on the daily. Mm-hmm. And once we see something better, we go after that, and we forget all about the past of many different things. Mm-hmm. And you just want to go always for what's better. Even when you're not ready for it, you prefer to go for what's better. Mm-hmm. So,
absolutely. So like I said, 2-2, I would be very excited about. I would be thrilled. I'd celebrate. I mean, losing 4 straight, it's tough. But hey, you're a professional athlete for a reason,
Man, you better be celebrating after they go 3-1. Let me celebrating 500. No, come on, don't celebrate mediocrity. You need to be celebrating 3-1. Celebrate 4-0 when they go out there.
You know who wasn't mediocre? Eli Manning.
Oh, boy. We're still rolling with this. I love it. Eli Manning, not mediocre. How many Super Bowls he go to? 2? Yeah. How many Super Bowls he win? 2? Sounds like one of the greatest.
I mean, you can't knock 100%.
No, you can't. No. It sounds like perfection.
So I told you earlier I got a quick little stat about LeBron James.
Okay, what is it? Yeah, you're pumped.
Well, it's over the past 2 games that he's played. And I just want to admire his greatness real quick.
Go admire.
Saturday, okay, February 6th, He had 33 points and 11 assists in 46 minutes in a 2 overtime win versus the Pistons. Yet last night, he had 28 points, a triple-double, 28 points, 14 rebounds, 12 assists in 43 minutes in an overtime win versus the Thunder. This man is 36 years old in his 18th season in the NBA and is casually playing 40 minutes a game.
G-O-A-T. I don't know why people don't want to give him the credit where it's due. I love Kobe, rest in peace, as a human and as an athlete. I love Michael Jordan. This is some of the moments I remember in life. From the episodic memory, I'm thinking about Jordan and some of the great things that he's done. And then, of course, there's so many documentaries and replays of the things that he's done. Right. But being able to see something live, watch him be great, watch him be the chosen one on the front of Sports Illustrated magazine at 16 years old, and watch him do it 20 years later in the NBA and have no signs of slowing down. GOAT. Yeah. That's what it is.
And I feel like it's going to be the same way like how it is with Tom Brady. LeBron is going to play until he is not the best anymore. And right now, I don't see, you have Giannis, who looks like the up-and-coming, next face of the NBA. But I don't think that he'll be able to last as long, or not even now, does the things that LeBron does. Giannis is spectacular in his own way. I mean, if I was 7'1" with a 7'10" wingspan and could run up the floor in 3 steps, I'd love what I was doing.
Yeah, I would do it too.
But it's just a matter that 18 years, and he's not going to stop. I can see him 45 years old out there. He originally had that receding hairline, which started coming back. But I could see him, coming out there with the gray hair and the beard and still balling people up.
Goodness gracious. What do you think this is? Uncle Drew? You think he's about to be another Uncle Drew? It's going to be Uncle Bron?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. It's at 45 years old. That's pretty crazy. I mean, I appreciate the analogy. I appreciate the exaggeration. Your use of hyperbole, perhaps. However, that is insane to be able to think about. I appreciate this man more than anything, but I don't want to watch LeBron go out the way that Michael Jordan went out and then make that stint and go hang out on the bench and hang out in the locker room with the Washington Wizards and be able to help people grow.
Yeah.
I love that mentality. I love, the mentorship. But after his son gets in, he should most definitely go ahead and hang it up. Play your one season with him. Do what you got to do. But hang it up after that. I don't really want to end up seeing him go for 45.
Well, and a lot of people discredit him because, he's not the GOAT. He didn't win as many titles as he's not going to win as many titles as Jordan, or hasn't won as many titles as Jordan, or whatever the case may be. But when I think the greatest of all time, I literally think of who plays the game, who has ever played the entire game the best. And the first name that comes to me is LeBron. He, handles the ball. His vision is incredible. Ball handling is great. His shooting has progressed. Still a terrible free throw shooter, which in our technical foul, I got something about LeBron's free throws.
Oh, boy.
Stick around. The greatest person to have ever played this game. I mean, it's like nothing he does on the court is wrong. Everything he does is like, it's just beautiful. And that's why I personally think that LeBron is the greatest. Now, achievements, like accolades, like, Jordan went to 6 and won 6. We were just talking about 100%. That's immaculate. But I think of who's the greatest to play the sport. The achievements are great, but when you're actually playing the game, who's the best? And I just think it's LeBron. And 18 years later, he's still proving his point.
Well, I don't necessarily disagree with you. It's just I don't want to see him play too long.
Yeah.
When you
45 was an exaggeration. Let me just get that out there now.
All right. But I want to be able to see him play all the way through his greatness, and then maybe he'll get to the point where perhaps, because he's already mentioned that Anthony Davis, this is your team over here. The same way that Dwayne Wade somewhat passed him the torch when they were playing together in Miami. Yep. He had said, hey, this is your squad here. And I'm here for it, and I'm here for you, and I'm here to be great with you. But this is your team. And Anthony Davis, some people thought he was only going to be there for just the year.
Right.
And, that he's gone ahead and solidified his commitment to be there longer. And now he can go ahead and build a team and surround himself with the guys that he wants to continue to play with. But, looking at where everything is right now, LeBron, I would say, is at another... he could get another 5 years in, but it's not going to be at the peak of his game.
No.
I mean, he's playing ridiculous right now, and I'd love to be able to continue to see him play.
Yeah, there will be at some time where we will start seeing the fall or the descent of him coming down off that mountain, but I don't see it within the next 2 years.
Well, that's all right. No, I'm here with you for it. However, I don't want to end up having to watch him, injury, something ridiculous to be able to take him out of the game. Yeah, and do what it is that you have to do. I watch this man work out before games. Yeah. I mean, full on workouts. Like, what are you doing? I mean, crazy workout. The dude, it's immaculate. It's incredible to be able to watch something like that. A master at work. Meanwhile, he's putting in so much time, and his kids and stuff are now a little bit older.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't have to be home all of the time. But the man is so dedicated, and just like a Tom Brady, he's able to do some things you never thought someone at that age could do. And it's a testament to his commitment and determination for the game.
Yeah. Speaking of workouts, there was one time I was in high school. Our star player on the basketball team ended up missing his first 5 shots of the game. So when we called a timeout, he did 20 push-ups right there on the floor and ended up dropping 30 or 40. It was insane. And with that note, we're going to take a quick break. I don't know. It was just one of the greatest things I'd ever seen.
Soft flex there. Man. Jeez.
It was crazy. Right. So, yeah, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to look up some of the key games to watch for over the next week, not just the Cavs, but some of the top teams throughout the league. And after that, we will get into our technical foul. So this is Ball Don't Lie here on Score and Air Network. We'll be right back.
In sports, you want to have a player that can get the job done right every time. A real all-star, somebody that's dependable and you can turn to when the game is tough. That player in the audio-video industry is the theater people. From setting up your home's Wi-Fi network and offices, conference rooms, to setting up home theater inside or outside, to setting up the systems to make your home run smarter and safer as well. The theater people can do it all with the quality of professionalism you can expect every single time. That isn't just a great all-around player. That is an all-star. That is why we are the leaders in audiovisual installation in Central Ohio. So call us at 614-604-6327 or check out our website at ttpcolumbus.com to figure out which products will fit you. And don't forget, amplify your personality with the theater.
And we are back. You unmuted me this time, Julian. I appreciate that.
I'm doing the best I can, learning curves over here and doing so many different things at once. But it's a great experience, man. I'm happy to be able to have that with you because for some reason, and I don't know for sure because several people have, mentioned this to me before, but someone told me the ball don't lie. Is that true?
Ball don't lie, man.
Ball don't lie.
What, you see it not even here in the studio, but out on the court, man. I watched it the other day. I seen somebody pick up a cheap foul. It might have been in that Golden State Mavericks game. Somebody got a cheap foul. Shouldn't have been called or anything like that, and the dude ended up missing both free throws.
Man.
The first thing that came to my mind is that ball don't lie, bro.
Ball don't lie. Love to see it.
Yes. Here for it. All right. Games to watch. Tonight, Boston Celtics taking on the Utah Jazz, who Utah is actually first in the West.
Okay.
They're typically right there around that 3 to 6 range. They have been for the past few years. I mean, Donovan Mitchell is insane to watch. But yeah, right now they got the top seed in the West. That starts at 10 p.m. tonight. Today is the 9th, so tomorrow, Indiana Pacers at the Brooklyn Nets, 8 p.m. That one should be exciting. I think the Pacers are sitting at 5th in the East. Brooklyn Nets sitting right up there at 3rd. Should be exciting. And then also tomorrow night, Milwaukee is at Phoenix. The Bucks taking on the Suns at 10 p.m. Like I said, Phoenix is they're trying to get something special going on down there. Devin Booker has really emerged over the past couple years and is an exciting talent to watch.
Okay.
February 12th, the big game for that night is Milwaukee at Utah. That's number 2 in the East against number 1 in the West. That game starts at 9 o'clock, so that one should be pretty exciting.
It's a nice little Friday night to go ahead and start up your date weekend, if that's what you're doing. If that's something that you're into, Milwaukee and Utah, yes. I mean, Donovan Mitchell versus Giannis Antetokounmpo, 9 o'clock. You can be at home and cozied up early on the couch. Do what you got to do. But it sounds like a date night to me.
Oh, absolutely. Following night, February 13th, Philadelphia at Phoenix. I don't know what it is about Phoenix, man. I got them on my teams to watch this year, I guess. Philadelphia, since I said Doc Rivers took over the helm this offseason, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons has really been playing well. Last year there looked like a lot of drama that both of them being the star on their team, it looked like neither of them wanted to lead. Mm-hmm. And it was very disgruntling, I'd say, if you're a 76ers fan.
Yeah.
But Doc Rivers came in, cleaned that right up, and now he's got them sitting first in the East standings. So 13th, Philadelphia at Phoenix. That one's at 3 p.m. February 14th, after this will be the same time as the Cleveland Cavaliers will beat the L.A. Clippers.
Okay.
The L.A. Lakers will play in Denver. That one's at 10 o'clock on Valentine's Day. Hopefully you guys got your Valentine's Day dates, set up, go out, get something nice to eat, come back home, chill on the couch, watch a little Cleveland Cavaliers, really spice up the night. I don't know why I'm talking like that.
Hey, you know what? You spice up the night, do whatever you want, man. Look at what you got on your chest right now. All the thank yous. You got a nice red rose up there.
Bro,
my man Donahoe is ready to get romantic. I don't know what it is. And I don't know your situation, okay? And correct me, if I'm wrong, but you seem like a very lovey-dovey type cat, man. It seems like you got a lot of love to give.
Bro, I find me the right woman.
And next time on Love and Basketball.
Great movie, by the way. My worst sports movies I ever watched.
Oh, man, I bet.
This just got awkward. No. February 15th, Philadelphia at Utah, number 1 against number 1, East and the West. 9 p.m. for that one. So those are some of the big ones to look out for. Like I said, next week we'll go over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Games that they have coming up at Denver, at Portland, at the Clippers, and at Golden State. So they'll have a tough. They're all on the West Coast, which is good. I mean, there's not too much travel going on over there, so hopefully they'll be all right. That first game might be a little difficult at Denver, getting adjusted to the time change and everything like that. But the following games, I think they'll get their feet underneath them and finish up strong.
I mean, if you rope it on back around to Boston tonight, taking on the Jazz, 10 at night, that start for someone who lives on the East Coast, and even for someone who plays on the West Coast, being Boston, those I just struggle to be able to stay up for anymore. I mean, it depends on what your schedule's like, but I'm a working man.
And old there,
well, no, I am, and I'm pushing 30, man. I'll be up there in March, but for me, it is something I'm like, okay, can I just stream this thing later on or what? But it's not like ESPN is not blowing up my phone, with all the updates. So if I happen to still be up and I'm not watching the Blue Jackets or something like that, then yeah, I'll be tuning in. But I don't have NBA TV, all the rest of that, and so I'm not going to strain myself to be staying up, too late for those. But it's always exciting to watch or wake up in the morning. I'm up about 5, 6 a.m. So I catch all that stuff the next morning. Yeah, you sound like you're not an early bird, huh?
Man, I'll go to bed. It depends. Sometimes I go to bed at like 11 o'clock midnight. Sometimes I'll go to bed at like 3. Like last night, I went to bed at 4:30. I stayed at my sister's. We do some little woodworking projects that we've started getting like a little side business in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
I guess.
But he works Wednesday through Saturday. So
Okay.
Sunday through Tuesdays is off days. So,
I like Mondays, yeah.
yeah. So we stayed up late and getting that stuff done. So I only slept for 5 hours before I came in here to class today to talk about Ball Don't Lie. I don't even think we're talking about Ball Don't Lie anymore.
I appreciate the dedication, man. You came in here, it's all about the cause. And now we don't have much to talk about with the ball not lying because football's over.
Yeah. I know.
So it's going to be that way for a minute till this draft comes around.
Yeah. Which will be exciting. That's up in Cleveland this year. Hopefully we'll try and make a little score on air trip up to Cleveland and be able to check that out somehow. Even if we don't get in the venue, which I wouldn't think that we would. Just being around the environment, I'm sure would be so exciting.
You heard it here first. We are going to the NFL draft. I don't know exactly where we will be at the NFL draft, but we will be in Cleveland for the NFL draft. That's what we're doing.
We're going to talk to Adam Dell, our instructor, and see if we can get in line to broadcast that NFL draft for you guys somehow. Probably won't happen, but hey, never say never.
I don't think there's any problem with it. I feel like there's a great opportunity for us. They
want us to get experience. This is the experience that we need.
We want it. We need it. And
they do too. All the fans out there need it too.
Come and watch Ball Don't Lie. Get on the Crock Pot, Prolific Sports Podcast, Mark Fages. I don't know. All of them. Everybody. Ohio Media. Get all of them.
Yeah. I mean,
we need
all these shows are great. Loganity, he's been tearing it up over the past year with his wrestling show. Him and Travis Napper on there and everyone. So, man, coming here, you learn a. When they say Ohio Media School, we change lives, they really do.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's fun to be around, man. I'm glad I decided to go ahead and make the jump in January, and I'm looking forward to being around for a long time.
How do we even get on this topic?
We
start something that just
see, but you're usually the one who keeps us on track, though. I'm usually the guy who's just like.
I'm a little sleep deprived right now.
That's all right. I like it.
It's all right. We're coming up to the last segment of our show. So, it is called Technical Foul. Basically, who would you give a technical foul to? Nothing religious or political or anything like that. It can be an athlete. It can be an actor. It can be your Joe Schmo off the street that you work with. It can be whoever. If they did something stupid, did something, said something dumb, stupid, ridiculous, whatever it is, if you would give them a technical foul, this is the time to do it right now. So, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I'll have you go first. I want to see how you structure these technical fouls.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
My technical foul goes to Matthew Berry. You know Matthew Berry, the fantasy football.
That's right. Matthew Berry. He's the guru. Okay.
He tweeted last night, I believe it was, LeBron James's current free throw percentage is 71.2%. Okay. Tom Brady's career win percentage in the playoffs is 75.6%. Brady is more likely to win a playoff game than LeBron is to make a free throw this year. Insanity. What kind of comparison is that? So LeBron is 100% has 100% chance to at least make one free throw this year.
Yes, I would say so, especially since Tom Brady won the Super Bowl.
I don't get the comparison. What does LeBron James shooting a free throw have to do with Tom Brady winning a playoff game?
Yeah, the two are not comparable. I would agree with you there, and I think that it is a lackluster comparison. I don't know. There are many things I could say about it because they're unrelatable. You have many more opportunities at shooting free throws, therefore you have many more opportunities to miss them.
Yeah.
And
we know that LeBron isn't the greatest free throw shooter.
And that's fine. We mentioned it 2-3 times on the show already, but I don't feel as if someone like if NFL fantasy football guru can't sit there and make fun of LeBron because Matthew Berry, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. You're not out there shooting in the gym. No. Like Rick Ross said, okay, and stay scheming.
Yeah.
Huh. You wasn't with me shooting in the gym? Huh. You know what I mean? Like, come on. You was not with LeBron shooting in the gym, Matthew Berry, so stay in your lane. is what I'd like to say.
Yeah. I mean, I literally, when I read it last night, I had to read it twice. LeBron James' current free throw percentage, 71.2%. Tom Brady career win in the playoffs, 75.6%. Brady is more likely to win a playoff game than LeBron is to make a free throw this year. I don't get the comparison.
It shouldn't have. That's kind of like when you should put the Twitter down. Like you should have like after a certain time, you should have a timer, like a similar to a child lock on something like, hey, after this time, the parental guidelines. You have to
enter a parental code.
Yeah. Like there's no way you should even be allowed on Twitter. Like Matthew Berry needs one of those set up.
After that, I think that Twitter should ban like they did. Nope, can't say that. That's political.
Oh boy,
That's
yeah,
political.
I saw where that was going. Yikes.
So I was just dumbfounded. I was like, I don't get this comparison. There's nothing relatable. I just don't know what to say.
There's not a whole lot to have to be said. I'm sure he got caught enough flack from all of the people who were responding to those tweets. Whoever does follow Matthew Berry, I'm sure he lost followers. Yeah. But then also to be said, this guy focuses on fantasy football because one, he probably does not play football himself, maybe wasn't good at football. So, if you want to be a, fantasy football nerd, beautiful. Yeah. But on top of that, you should also focus on the sport that you are an analyst for or that you focus on, which is football. It's not basketball.
Right.
So, yeah, stay in your lane, Matthew Berry.
Yeah.
I would agree. I'm going to give him a double T on that.
Yeah, kick him out of the game.
Yeah, no, he needs his account suspended. But I'm glad that you brought that up. I haven't seen any outrageous tweets really recently here, but what I want to go ahead and give a technical foul to is going to be the referees in the Super Bowl. There's this. I want to be as unbiased as possible, and they put together the best crews for these things. Right. So I don't want to discredit the NFL and everyone else, but when a ball is thrown out of the back of the end zone and someone trips with their finger on someone's shoelace, and it obviously wasn't intentional, that is not a place where you throw a flag. Yeah. In the Super Bowl. Yeah. I don't care if you want to do it against FAU, against AUB, okay? Alabama, or I don't know what it is, Alabama University of Birmingham. Games that don't matter. UAB.
AUB
dyslexic.
is short for Auburn.
I'm dyslexic. But look,
it's a learning process on this show. Don't worry.
You'll
get used to it.
I don't care what it is that you want to do, but that right there is absolutely ridiculous. Amongst other bad calls that we talked about in the crock pot, when Chris Jones gets flagged down on the goal line, they get an automatic first down. There was an interception thrown, and then all of a sudden it's coming back because of a holding call on the defense when the Chiefs had an opportunity. The referees, they need to go back and watch that film. There's probably going to be some fines dished out. That's what should happen. But my technical foul is going to go to the referees in the Super Bowl for now. For my first technical foul given on Ball Don't Lie, I'm going to give it to the referees. That's fresh on my mind. It's the only thing I can really think of that has really grinded my gears thus far this week. It's only Tuesday, so looking forward to seeing what else is going to grind my gears this week. Right. But the technical foul is going to the referees in the Super Bowl. There's things that could have been done better, and I get it. But we have over 120 cameras all on you, and there's not any fans to be able to obstruct views. This year, the referees are the donkey, of that broadcast, and it was seen from 8K cameras to 4K cameras to all the rest of these things, and it's definitely technical fouls given to that whole referee crew.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. I think the foul differential was like 11 for Kansas City for like 130 yards to Tampa Bay's 4 for like 35.
Yeah. I mean, and
I don't want to say that the NFL's rigged, but
yikes! I don't want to have to give it to you up, Seth, on your own show. I don't know if you can go ahead and keep on saying, who it is that I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm lost for words. That's definitely my technical foul. It's the only thing that's really been weighing on my mind and bothering me, though. I do still believe that Tampa Bay was going to win. But take apart the referees, give them a T, do what you got to do. Get the rest of the crew. I know you have backup referees, right? There's many things that could have happened, but that's my technical foul for the week.
You know who didn't get a lot of fouls called on him? Eli Manning.
Sure didn't. Hey, Eli Manning has won this show as well as likely this year. He's winning 2021, and he's not even playing.
I think this is our 5th time mentioning his name.
I'm proud of it.
This is a basketball show.
I'm proud of it. Eli, I know you're probably bad at basketball, but hop on Ball Don't Lie, because obviously we appreciate you. Yeah. We will have you anytime. Absolutely. Thank you, Eli.
So, looking forward to next week. We won't have any Super Bowl to review, so it's just going to be all basketball from here on out.
Can't wait.
What we did last year is kind of like some redrafts. We took some older drafts, and especially when the seasons got shut down, kind of did some fun stuff like that. So we'll be talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers, how their 4-game stint is holding or has held up or will hold up. I'm trying to talk into the future.
That's all right, man. You got it.
And we will also, probably look at like some MVP frontrunners, kind of like who's leading the league. Maybe give some predictions, who we think will make the playoffs, get into the finals, and that kind of thing. So, first episode, Ball Don't Lie. Julian, wouldn't have it any other way, buddy.
Man, I appreciate you having me out, and I'll be here for a long while. Look forward to doing more work together, and also looking forward to inquiring about that trip to Cleveland. All right, and hopefully we can catch a little Cavs game while we're up there.
Adam, we got to get a broadcast up there for the draft.
We're going to the draft, baby.
Let's go! All right, first episode, Ball Don't Lie. I'm Seth Donahoe. That's Julian Jackson. Tune in next Tuesday. Julian's show is first, The Crock Pot, about 1 o'clock on Tuesday. I will be following up right after here on Ball Don't Lie. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.